Hello, this is Matthew Marco with abnormalmapping.com, and welcome back to this final episode of Final Fantasy XIII. Thanks so much for watching so far. I'm taking pictures, being a doofus. I am recording this one after the fact. We are in this amazing area that is like part hospital, part server room. One of my favorite things about this area is that it is was revealed in one of the earliest promotional images, which was Lightning sitting in one of these benches here, and it's just been like this was here like the thing all along. I really love how minimal this is after our techno heaven clockwork thing that we were in. This is great. I love the sterility. But we're just gonna run right in, and it's gonna be a lot of boss fights and a lot of story that I'm probably just gonna be quiet over. So we will come back once the story's done.
Let's do this.
Oh, I guess not. Oh, there we go. Never mind. My bad.
Ready?
Yep.
Yeah. Ready.
This is it.
Moment of truth, hero.
Little lights. Just like in Emma.
Life's spark shines on, once freed from its fleshly shroud.
Dodge!
Sarah!
Our old friend Space Pope showing up where we least want him, as usual.
Dreams, meanwhile, shatter in a flash.
Dodge! No!
Think. Where's the real Sarah?
Hey, listen. It isn't real. It's just foul sea smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, they don't work wonders. They play tricks.
At last, my errant l'Cie. Men fight men. Men battle beasts. Cocoon wars with Pulse. There can be no end to such conflict. But Cocoon's end is imminent and inevitable. Will you not at least slay Orphan and make it quick, as an act of mercy?
Mercy? You mean murder. And Cocoon won't die. We're not here for that. We came for you.
Such willful insolence. Disappointing. You prolong Cocoon's suffering? And to what end? Refusing me but condemns another to face your focus tomorrow. If you truly seek salvation, you will obey.
And here we are, our first boss fight, once again finding ourselves pitted against Barthandalos. This guy just won't go away. I think I gave out about his return last time, so I won't belabor the point now. I continue to think he's a really interesting design with his giant head and his gross hands and the weird like angel heads on the side. It's very Bayonetta-esque in a way that most of the enemies in this game are not. But our plan continues to be the same. We haste up and buff up, and then we just go nuts. Unsurprisingly, that works really well. Oh, he's got Ultima now, which does quite a bit of damage, but we're resilient. We're resilient. At this point, we're as resilient as we possibly could be, I feel like, so it's unsurprising that we can handle this attack pretty well. I think I mostly rely on diversity for this stuff because everything else is... Oh, look at that. Yeah, when he's in peril, he just takes... His stagger goes up really high. It's just the fastest way to get rid of him. Clearly, I was over-leveled for these parts of the game. Oh, good old Army of One being ridiculous. I'm kind of sad I didn't check out the special ultimate attacks of the other characters. I'm not going back to this game, but I bet they were equally ridiculous.
Thank you.
Probably not as good as her yelling, "I'm no one's slave" before she attacks, but not bad. Look at that, like he's almost half dead, and we're in our first stagger. Hard to, hard to argue with that. We're very effective at this point. In terms of a 3-boss rush, I feel like this game, like it's not too bad. Part of it is I know I'm overleveled. If I was underleveled, I can imagine this battle being really difficult.
Thanks.
I'd probably just need to use a Sentinel more than I do, which is not at all. Look at this guy. Look, he's almost dead. That's great. We're so good at video games. Well, he's not. All his debuffs wore off, so that's a bummer. And his smile, whatever it's called, smile move, continues to just ruin us. Yeah, look at that. So much damage. I thought we had a 2-medic setup, but I got rid of that because I never used it. But it's fine. We ended up not needing it, obviously. We kind of just worked this guy as is. Because we're so powerful. It's fine. I think all Final Fantasy games, deep down, have a final boss that if you've done any grinding at all are pretty achievable. At least all the 3D ones. I mean, nothing is as ridiculous as Final Fantasy IX, whose final boss you can kill in almost one turn. Not quite, if I remember correctly, because you can't break damage and it has like 40,000 some hit points, but you can get real close. And that's so great. That Ultima's a cool attack. It's a pity we don't learn it. A lot of the traditional Final Fantasy stuff doesn't seem to really be in this game. Like, there's no thieves or anything. It's weird. I don't think any of that stuff comes back in 13 too. Maybe in Lightning Returns there's like thievery. I have no idea. Who knows what Lightning Returns is? Just a black box that we peer into. Yeah, look at this guy. He's dying so fast. And he's gone. Awesome. All his head decorations are gone. It's unnecessary.
Hey, put a lid on it.
Release. At last, release.
It's done.
All right!
Whew.
did it, huh?
Yep. It's that bird again.
Oh, you mean that's not the end? The gasp.
Yet in this form never be saved. Too frail a shell, and humans should not thrive. Too stout a shell, and they will not die. Salvation. Two irreconcilable focuses we bore. Yet bound were we in a cocoon prison, impervious to our power. And so we thank you for granting us our longed-for birth.
Dysley? No, not anymore.
We are the abandoned, born but not to die. Our name is Orphan. By our hand shall be redemption.
And here we go into the second battle. This is a crazy, amazing looking boss. This is maybe the best design in this game. It's so cool. This weird corruption of like the Dysley, like the Barthandelus monster, and this like feminine figure and the baby, and it's also just a giant crystal sword. How is that not the coolest thing ever? Also kicks our ass, apparently. Jesus. But yeah, and then like the feminine figures cradling the baby, which I assumed was Orphan. That assumption proves correct as we go on. But it also got like a weird like Kefka six-winged angel thing there on the side. I guess it's also a one-winged angel. I think Kefka when I look at that because there's so many wings. But I think this is one of the best like final boss designs in a modern Final Fantasy game, because it evokes kind of the really elaborate Amano designs of old, but with the graphical fidelity of like a modern game in a way that they've never really gone for. But man, it looks awesome. Not much to talk about in terms of the actual combat, because it's just what we've been doing this entire time. Like nothing new here. We go to town on this guy. Like, none of the final bosses were even particularly difficult in this game. Just give them all you got. I gotta add this down to a science at this point. Yeah, for all the Nomura-isms that are in this game, I feel like the designs are finally achieving like the Amano ornateness. I would love to see Amano come back to character design in these games just once, to see the beautiful, elaborate nonsense that he would create for this series again. Just fey and wispy and beautiful. Alas, we're not gonna get that, but I can dream. I can dream. This thing has way more hit points than Barthandelus does. I do not remember how long these battles are. It's actually been about 2 weeks since I actually played this stuff. By the end of these recordings, I was really burnt out on Final Fantasy XIII as a thing, and I didn't want to have the final episode be me complaining a bunch about how exhausted I am with this game, because all in all, like, I'm glad I played it, and it deserves more enthusiasm than that, so I'm recording it today instead. Long after the fact, this game's been deleted off my hard drive. I've been moving on playing other things. That crystal sword is really cool. It's like Smithy, right? I know Smithy wasn't actually a sword, but they pretended he was a sword for most of that game. How many other times is your final boss a giant sword? Oh, excuse me. Horrible yawn. Very rude. How many buffs can we have? All of the buffs? All of the buffs. I need to stop having Lightning do healing because she's way worse at it than Hope is. His magic is just so much higher than hers that he achieves way more in the same role. Which is to be expected. Lightning's not a healer, she just has medic abilities. Yeah, there's no trick to this guy, it's just hit him with everything. What was I looking for? Imperil again, probably? Shell? I guess so. See if we can hit him with more debuffs. Oh yeah, get that Imperil going. That Imperil does so good for us. I think it just increases... yeah, we're losing our hastes. Yeah, this was a battle of keeping buffs going. I think his moves take off buffs. It seems that we lost them really fast. I don't think we're in battle long enough to justify how many we were actually losing.
Let's go!
I could be wrong. Maybe buffs actually don't last that long, but it feels like a short amount of time. Then again, time gets really weird in combat in this game. Like a battle taking several minutes, while several minutes doesn't seem like a lot, it feels like an eternity. Oh yeah, we're losing all our buffs right there. Man, what a nightmare. At some point, I should have just stopped working with that and just gone on to attack this guy, but especially since I didn't want to use sentinels. I suppose it makes sense to just keep all the buffs going so we don't have to worry about defense at all. I mean, he's more than half dead, so it's not too concerning, but same token, I could have probably been more efficient in this battle. Music is really amazing too. You know, for all of the problems out of this game, I feel like this final boss trio is actually pretty cool. And the story stuff is elaborate enough to be interesting. We'll talk about it as it goes on, but or at the end, I suppose, because I don't want to talk over the story bits that are coming up. But it definitely goes for some stuff that is surprising in its final hour, I guess. This is what we're at, final hour. Which is a bunch of words being spent for me to explain that I don't really have a whole lot to say about this battle, obviously. Oh, other than it's done, right? Good job, us. 5 stars.
Have you ever paused to consider our reason for making the sea of men? We Fal'Cie are crafted for a single purpose, and granted finite power to that end. With men, it is not so. Men dream, aspire, and through indomitable force of will achieve the impossible. Your power is beyond measure. We take the sea, that we might wield such strength. Through you, we obtained freedom from our bondage. And now, your focus alone remains. Defy it, and all will fade from naught. Cocoon's sacrifice, and that of Grandpa's as well. Yet, if we but summon the Maker, we will be granted the chance to begin again. All our sins absolved, and the world born anew. Submit the sea. Become Ragnarok. Lead us into the light.
Let her go!
We have no need of flawed the sea.
Orphan! I'll do it. I'll destroy you.
Ragnarok. The will to guide a world unto oblivion. Can you bear the sin of our salvation?
You heard me. I said I'll do it!
You can't! I'll be fine. And you can't forget our promise. We promised to save Cocoon. We promised!
I made another promise too. To protect my family.
Fang?
Sometimes, you gotta choose! Back off!
What did you do? This ain't the time to be losing it, lady!
You too, huh? What do you gain from hurting Vanille? We're in this together! This is my focus. No one's gonna stop me! Everything I do. Why? Is this what you meant to happen? All of them.
After all we went through.
Guess I deserve it. After what I did. Are they my sin to bear for choosing salvation?
Please, stop! Stop it! Give them back!
Salvation is born of sacrifice, miracles of misery. From shattered shards, a new crystal legend will arise. Yes. Let anger be your strength.
I'm trying not to talk during this, but the idea of a new crystal legend is like the most Sailor Moon phrase in the world, and I wish this game had done more with that. I also love this Esper Terra Final Fantasy VI-esque Fang. So beautiful. Sorry, I'll go back to not talking during the story sequence.
Anger didn't drive us. We just had things worth fighting for.
Yet again. How many times must you fail?
me go.
Retake the form of Ragnarok. Deliver us that which we have too long been denied.
What do you want?
Steep yourself in hatred. Let it infuse your soul with the strength it craves. Your awakening demands an offering of pain.
Vanille, run.
No! I swore I wouldn't run away anymore. I'd rather fight and lose than give up without even trying. Bang!
Miracles out of misery. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, Fang. Who'd be dumb enough to swallow that crock?
Sure. We've all had better weeks.
We're alive!
But you can't be. Could be more Fal'Cie smoke and mirrors.
Fang, I'm sorry.
We made you go it alone.
Second time now, isn't it?
This absolutely ridiculous everything is gonna be alright music is totally out of keeping with the rest of this game, but it's pretty delightful.
Somewhere cold and dark. Just thinking about everything that happened up until now. And then it was like...
It was like I had a glimpse of the future. Everyone was smiling and laughing. Even Sarah. Even Light.
I don't know. New focus or something. I'm thinking it didn't really make sense, of course. I mean, knowing you were worm bait and all, but as luck would have it, next thing I know, I feel somebody pushing me right along.
You were there too, Fang. Same side. All of us. Together to the end.
Listen, you're not alone anymore. We have a new family now. We stick together. You hear me?
Yes, I promise. We promised, didn't we? The brand of a lassie. The symbol of the focus we all faced. The mark of the fate we all shared. Proof of the promise we all made.
The boss took a long time to die.
The heroes never die.
That's not true. Heroes die all the
Come on.
time.
We've got a world to save.
Don't be dense.
If we have the power to destroy Cocoon, then we have the power to save it. You say you want your day of wrath, do ya? Well, it's coming right up.
Very
We
aggressive.
gave the people what they really want.
The conclusion of this game is what we really want. It's time. Give it to us.
We can do it. I know we can. We made it this far.
Right.
Let's make a real miracle happen.
Lady Luck sure ain't on his side.
Overreach yourselves.
No, we overreach you.
Is that so?
You don't believe in anything. You gave up on life before you were even born. Sat poisoning Cocoon from the inside, waiting for someone to come and destroy you. Sure, you think the end of the world is salvation. All you care about is death's release. So take it, and leave the rest of us alone. We don't think like that. When we think there's no hope left, we keep looking until we find some. Maybe Cocoon is past saving, but it's our home, and we'll protect it or die trying. We live to make the impossible possible.
It's very inspirational.
That is our focus.
It's a ridiculous focus, though. I like this giant psychic death baby that is our final boss, though. It's very silly.
Find your own road to hell.
I think the last final boss was more impressive. Giving me a doom clock also pretty great. Not really necessary. This battle actually doesn't take that long because we're awesome at games. I think I was just waiting for haste, right? Yeah. Just went to town. If we were gonna get doom clocked, I wasn't gonna worry too much. Yeah, in fact, this boss, I mean, I'll just tell you, this boss is really straightforward and pretty easy. But yeah, the story elaboration here is really interesting. I'll talk about it more during the credits, but it's very clear that this game was built like around the idea of Fang and Vanille as the main characters, and I think it's weird that the story basically is not about them until the very end, because they're clearly the protagonists. Like, everything plot relevant happens around them. Like, there's the Sarah stuff that's grounding lightning and snow, but honestly, like, that's not plot relevant at all. It's just about Vanille and Fang and their, like, focus in the past and their focus now and how it feels like to be a person trapped in this world and dealing with it. So, I don't know, it's very strange that the game doesn't really focus on that to the very end. And I think the way it does, like, Fang turning should be this huge plot point, but instead it's a thing that's created and resolved in a second. If she was just Kane from 4, like, that'd be great. I would love her as this character, but she's not that character. Not that character at all, unfortunately. But, it's alright. I mean, like, the stuff it does is interesting, especially given how I feel like most of the story has been stagnant up to this point, and all of a sudden there's this great stuff with Ragnarok and Fang maybe buying into this idea of what their focus should be, or even just this very idea of the fallacy needing humanity to, like, the fallacy are unable to self-determine, and thus they need humanity to determine for them, but humanity can fight that through their own power of self-determination. Like, it's this great humanist tale, but it doesn't actually tease out most of that in the actual plot, which is unfortunate. I mean, it's not the end of the world, obviously, but I don't know. I feel like it's a missed opportunity they could have elaborated upon.
Take
But like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it because this battle's almost over. This is an easy final boss. I think giving a doom clock almost tips the hand in that this is a battle that can be done quickly because it shouldn't be possible to do it fast. Anyway, I'll be quiet again. I'll be back during the lengthy credits, but let's instead watch the ending of this game. Okay? Alright.
We're here to stop him. We've come to save Cocoon, right?
Right.
Stay together!
Hey, grab my hand.
Okay.
Fang! Vanille!
Vanille?
Wishes can come true. But not if you just wait for miracles. Ready. Miracles are things we make for ourselves. Here and now.
That ridiculous hair commercial shot of Vanille and Fang is my favorite thing. I try not to talk too much over this, but that is ridiculous.
Wake up.
Awake in the morning, tired of sleeping. Get in the shower, make my bed alone. I put on my makeup, talking to the mirror, ready for a new day.
They did it. They saved the world.
No, they gave us a new one.
That's one gift I'll forgive him for not rapping.
Yeah.
This is as much as we can do. The rest is up to you.
Does this mean we completed our focus?
Cocoon's seen better days, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I'd say that qualifies as a demolition. Focus complete.
Whatever you want to believe.
It really is a miracle.
My brand! It's gone!
It's easy to lose sight of things in a world as wide as this one. But if you keep going, you're sure to find what you're looking for, sooner or later.
Hmm?
Oh, big bunch of chocobos. Look there. Oh!
Sarah!
It is.
Guys!
Daddy! Snow!
Sarah!
They're gone, aren't they?
Hey,
I guess they meant for this to be goodbye. Then again, we've changed our fates before.
Come on.
Okay.
I missed you.
Sarah, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Hey, come on, the apologies can wait. We got a wedding to plan. What? You are gonna allow it,
Wow.
right?
You don't waste any time, do you?
No, I don't.
That's right, just charge in, guns blazing.
I swear to you, I will make her happy.
I believe you. Congrats.
When prayers turn to promises, not even fate can stand in their way.
We held the light of hope in our hearts and achieved the impossible. Now we live on to greet a new dawn.
And that's the end of Final Fantasy XIII. The ridiculous happy-go-lucky, like everyone survives and dances around on Cocoon is like the world explodes into crystal ending is the most nonsense thing, especially with a bad pop song playing over the top of it. I don't hate it, to be fair, but it's so jarring compared to the rest of this game that I wonder if maybe it was like too little too late. Like that kind of lightness has to be earned, right? After the march of death that has been the last 40 hours of this game. But all in all, I think it's really interesting. I think it sets up a better world than actually was given as a scenario in this game. The idea of these people who lived in this very cloistered, very guided, like they're in basically like a terrarium of some sort for centuries, and all of a sudden the terrarium breaks open and they're spilled out into this world that they've thought of as the enemy forever. And how do you cope with that? Like, that stuff's really interesting. I'm curious to see how much 13-2 explores it. I don't think Lightning Returns does it all. I could be wrong, but I bet it doesn't. That's like a weird, different thing, right? I don't know. But I also think the idea of Fang and Vanille's sacrifice doesn't really hold much water when suddenly they're like talking to people and they're floating in the crystal holding hands, and like this game sets up at first this idea that going into the crystal could be this positive thing, like, oh, you get eternal life, but you're sealed off from everything. It's not really like a real eternal life. It's like this prison. But then at the end, they're like talking to them through this psychic connection or whatever, and that's just silly. Like, it doesn't add any weight to their sacrifice if they can still like psychically talk to the people that they left behind. I think it just robs the gesture of any sort of weight. If they are actually characters who decided, oh, like their focus all along has been to destroy Cocoon, and then they struggle to do that, and then they manage to do that suddenly, and or you know, they get to the cusp where they can do it, and Fang almost decides to, but then they decide the best thing instead is to preserve, like they destroy the structure that created the idea of they need to destroy Cocoon, but they manage to preserve the thing that matters, which is the people. Like, that's interesting, but the game doesn't really go in that direction. Like, it doesn't explore any of that stuff. It's all just on the periphery. So, you know, I don't know what to make of all of that. Once again, I think Lightning and Snow and Hope and them are like sidelined in terms of the major plot. Like, they get the good character beats, but they don't actually have a whole lot to do. It's really frustrating. This is a thing that happened in 12 also, where the main characters had little to do with the plot and actually weren't very interesting either. Nobody cares about Vaughn and Penelo. They suck. Through and through, they suck. So, you know, this game doesn't have that problem, really. The only character that sucks is Snow, and that's just because I don't like him. I don't think he's, like, badly written. This kind of archetype doesn't do anything for me. But, yeah, I mean, as a game, like, it just feels so, like, they struggle so much with creating action sequences and the sense of urgency that it never gets the chance to set up this world enough. And data logs don't count. Data logs help, but they're treating the symptom, not the problem. The problem is that this game doesn't have enough actual establishing bits to make it a thing that you want to invest in. So, I don't know. Like I said, I think the last hour is strong. I think that Fang and Vanille stuff would be great if it was set up a little earlier than it was. Instead, they've just been like by your side the entire time. Even if Fang like was introduced as a character of nebulous loyalties, by the end of the game, she is your bro Fang through and through. And then all of a sudden she attacks. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But, you know, like, its quality beats just not set up right, and that's kind of the whole part of this game. Is it has moments that are great, but its connective tissue is just soggy and full of the combat, which I've already complained about at length, so it's not really worth talking about. If this game had double the story and was exactly as long as it is, I think it would be a much better game. You just need to find a different way to tell it that isn't these cutscenes, like maybe a town, you know? The problem is when all of your story is presented through ridiculous cinematic presentation, it's very expensive and very time consuming, and it's not even, like, it's exhausting to watch at some point. As we watch the highlights of all of that exhausting presentation, you know, if there was just more sequences of them standing around talking, I think the game would be stronger for it. This is why, like, when you think of RPGs with a great story, you think of primarily, like, older games or portable games. Like, you think of Persona. Like, Persona is a budget PS2 title, basically. Not in terms of how much it costs, but in terms of its scale. Most of it is static images of characters and basic emoting of, like, really rudimentary 3D models. I don't know how you tell an elaborate story with a game that looks like this, where you have incredibly high budget CG and really detailed character models and like really cinematic camera angles and stuff like that. It just doesn't make any sense. I think that's a problem for just RPGs in general. Like, BioWare gets away with it by their story sequences are often just, here's talking heads, and you select options from a menu while that happens. But it's also a different type of storytelling. I think JRPGs should go back to some moments where it's just people standing in a room talking, or just talking heads, or whatever, in between all of the cinematic bits. Like, save it for when it matters, but have some explanation then, and have some slightly off of center character bits where you get to know and like these characters that aren't presented in this ridiculous, overblown style. But I mean, clearly, nothing about Final Fantasy VII is about going for the, like, rough, rooted, like, old fashion of doing anything. Everything in this game is incredibly glossy and incredibly slick and incredibly over-designed. So why would the story be any different? I just think it really suffers for it, and that's a bummer because it doesn't have to be that. It never has to be that. But we're coming up on the end of this. Like I said, I don't hate this game. I dislike its structure in terms of combat more than I dislike its story. I just wish there was more story there to tell. There's just not enough to hold on to, and you just end up kind of liking characters because of their their archetypes more than you do them as people. I'm hoping going back to this world now that things have happened and it's in such a different place will be interesting. As a production note, I plan to do that sometime in the new year, but it's going to be in a main Let's Play. It's not going to be in the mornings because I don't really have the bandwidth, personal bandwidth, not internet bandwidth. I don't have the time and energy to make 2 videos a day anymore. Like, this was hugely draining. But Final Fantasy XIII 2 is coming, and it'll be great, I hope. And that's the end of this Final Fantasy XIII Let's Play. If you've watched this far, you are a trooper. Thank you very much. Explore other Let's Plays on the site. I'll be back with 13.2 next time, soon, someday. I don't know. Until then, I'm never doing an RPG again. Thank you so much. Abnormalmapping.com, Abnormal Mapping on iTunes. See you guys around the bend. Bye.